Oh. Welcome to this crashing mess. Mess of crash? Crashing mess. Today, we are answering a question. Now, it is not long after Halloween, so a lot of people have leftover candy, whether it be their kids' candy, candy they stole from a child, or candy they bought at the store. The question we are answering is, what candy goes best inside of a cupcake? Now, you might be answering to yourself, the best candy that goes inside of a cupcake is chocolate. Like, unequivocally, any chocolate that you put inside a cupcake is going to be good. But there are people that don't like chocolate. There are people that don't have chocolate in their house currently. And so we are more so answering the question with more unusual candy. Now, with the candy we had, I tried to get a good mix of, what candy had what flavor with it. For instance, the Starburst doesn't have, a little mini Starburst that is, don't have any of the pink because the pink are bad. The Skittles are just the green because there isn't a lot of green apple in the candy that we have here, except for in the Sprees. Would be better, of course, if the Skittles were still lime, but, I digress. And then we do still have some chocolate here, kind of more unusual chocolate, if you will. But without any further ado, let's get a little bit more acquainted with our contestants here. Alright, now that overdramatic introduction to what we're working with here is done, let's go ahead and put the finishing steps on everything. A bit of a side question with the Lifesaver mints here. When you crush them in your mouth, you eat them in the dark, you can see they create sparks, which is very fun and all that sort of stuff. But now we want to see if you crush them in a plastic bag, do they create those sparks as well? Let's find out. No. So we had a bit of a casualty from us doing the smashing as it is. So I was doing smashing the Jolly Ranchers up, so I wasn't filming because I don't think ahead, and I'm also dumb. Yeah. This fell apart. So, yeah, that's fine. The oven. She is preheated. Now you might be saying, these are overfilled, and you would be correct. However, I had extra batter, so screw it. But I am going to put these on cookie sheets just to make sure they don't overflow. Okay, so we should be all set here. Yep, that feels all right to me with these. Oop, these could actually use a little bit more time to brown up. Yeah, that's looking mighty all right to me. Just take a little check here. All right, it is now the next day, so these have had plenty of time to cool. As you can see, we have a lovely sunflower towel on here to remind us of how lovely the weather we have is. Great. Well, let's go ahead and take a look, and yes. Those are certainly cupcakes. Cupcakes you now have to try to see what worked and what didn't. All right, the tasting is done, the results are in, and we're ready to answer the question we proposed at the beginning of this video. And what better way to answer that question than to organize everything into a tier list? Now, usually when we would reveal these tiers, it would be one by one, but the answer is pretty similar between each of these, quite honestly. So as you can see across the board with all the candies, it generally didn't work out. The issue pretty much was that during the baking process, the candy would sink to the bottom and congeal into a melted gelatinous mess. I am happy with the results, however, as we got answers to our question of which candy goes best in a cupcake. Now, some of these candies did actually stand out from the rest in certain ways, and for those candies, I want to give out some awards. Our first award is for the most disgusting. I don't know if it was the heat or batter reacting with the candy, or both for that matter, that caused the taste to come out like it did, but after eating these, I want to set my tongue on fire. The cup of unimaginably horrendous liquids goes to both flavors of nerds. You can technically call it a tie if you want, since they are in two different cupcakes, but they were both equally terrible. Now on to the worst looking cupcakes. We actually have a tie, as these are different candies. Both cupcakes were actually edible, and as bad as they look, they did stay together and the taste was fine. But anyway, the very ugly star goes to Chewy Sprees and Jelly Beans. Yeah. Now for the biggest disappointment. This is one I thought would turn out well, but was actually one of the worst. The ribbon of the astonishingly substandard goes to Charleston Chew. At the beginning, I said all chocolate would be good inside of a cupcake. I meant that to say that all chocolate would taste good inside of a cupcake. And even then, you could argue that I'm wrong, because these completely dissolved away. In hindsight, I probably should have seen that coming since they are chocolate-covered nougat, and to my knowledge, the nougat has a lot of air in it. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why they were disappointing. All that really does matter is that they were disappointing. So, very disappointing. But without further delay, let's get on to the unequivocal, unambiguous, definite, clear, certain, another synonym, and obvious winner. The medal of best goes to Swedish Fish. Based on the results that we found, I will most likely not make candy-filled cupcakes for my own personal consumption, but if I do in the future, I will use Swedish Fish, unless I want to test different candies, that is. The taste was above average, and it didn't completely melt together. and it was the only candy that really exhibited both of those qualities. Many thanks for watching this video. Please hit those good YouTube buttons if you don't mind, and don't forget that the last thing I say on any video moving forward will be inane, obvious, dumb, insane, or most likely a mix of all those adjectives.